I can't believe it's December. It is crazy to be doing this blog and vlog and newsletter. I'm very grateful to all of you who are listening because and reading and opening these newsletters. They're the highest open rates in the history of our practice and our community. And honestly, it feels good to do. And we are in the we are in the wake of I really have to hurry back. It's about 9:50 and my kid's already gotten up twice, and no one gives you a parenting manual, and there's all sorts of like parenting uh influencers and platforms and podcasts and books, gentle parenting, respectful parenting, like tough love parenting. I'm in a dad's group, Apogee Dad's group. I've not been quiet about that. I definitely love the fact that I'm being modeled what these incredible fathers are and these incredible husbands and men are. It's been something that's been very nourishing for me. Um, but we are in the wake of an amazing trip to Maine. I would say a huge positive was that my my kids got to meet their only great grandparent, uh, great grandmother Gigi, who I shared in the last podcast and the last newsletter video, that she's a daughter in the American Revolution, and so is my daughter, right? And it's a miracle thing that we live in a country where a kid that looks like me can be a daughter of the American Revolution. I just think that's very inspiring, and she is a inspiring woman, and I was very blessed to get to know her. She's 99. She's on hospice, and my wife obviously is just classically the favorite of the grandparents that I've met, and she's still processing, what this, potential last time of seeing her was. And then you go and travel, parenting, um, with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old across the country. And it's one thing to travel the East Coast; it's another thing to travel to Maine, and it's not easy to get there. I think it was 15 hours of the first itinerary getting out there, like a 5 hour layover in Philly, and on the way home we had 3 hops, and man, it was intense. I would say, this is maybe too much information, but every one of you who I've told in the office who has 2 or more kids, um, has said, "Ooh, like where'd you go?" And like you just immediately kind of felt for the journey and the process. And honestly, I never would have like expected that, right? Like, no one really prepares you for um the anxiety that you feel being that family of four. And I would say also when you're a new parent and you're traveling for the first time, but then you realize that your infants do really well, and then you have 2 of them, and then it's man-to-man coverage, and it's just an interesting dynamic, right? And then your daughter says to you with a very clear sense of urgency, despite never wanting to go to the bathroom, when you prompt her in real life, and it's like the announcer, pilot, prepare for takeoff. Everybody starts to kind of get all ready, and you start to move towards the just the runway, and your daughter, with very clear language and certainty, says, "Daddy, poo poo," and it's this urgency that it's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. Pardon my French. And I just wrote a positive, extremely positive review for Caroline Maddox, who gave my son a first flight certificate, was able to do whatever protocol she needed to make sure that we could get our kid to the bathroom, clean out everything that had transpired, and leave minimal like damage, not only to the passengers' nasal passageways, but also just our hearts, to think that we're about to embark on a 5-hour flight, our third leg, out of Atlanta. And the Atlanta crew was just amazing, and they just kind of went to bat for our family. And you don't plan for those things, and in those moments you have these all these thoughts like, holy cow, how many times I've judged parents in this type of situation when I was, young, single, and young. when I was, when we were newly married, and when we had one kid, and now it's like you're in that situation where it's a constant state of humility or opportunities for humility. And nothing bigger than the second night that we were in Maine. My daughter, in a new sleep situation, got up in the middle of the night, tried to find us, and fell down a set of stairs. And it's interesting because I've shared with you on this platform of all the work that we've done and all the healing that we've done, and I'm going to go over that a little bit. Regressed, and it makes you upset, and you get these results and you get really impatient and you get really high expectations, and then something like that happens, and then you remember, like, wow, like the really and most important thing is that I take care of my kid. She's okay. She didn't break anything. She really could have. And we are, still kind of recovering, because since then she's been attached to my hip, and it's 9:56 now, and I probably need to head back because she might be up again, and her sleep regression and things like that. But what I will say is, if we look at 2022, one of the things that we do in the office and what we've done in my family for many, many years is a practice called completing and remembering and creating the new year, right? So completing and remembering 2023 and creating 2024. And one of the things that I wanted to share about that, because I will share in the next newsletter more so, it's a series of questions that help you reflect, process, integrate everything that happened this year. And then it allows you an opportunity to take you through a series of questions that allows you to create the next year. And I wanted to share with you just really kind of brief answers that I came up with as far as like some of the questions, like what was the biggest triumph in 2023? Was Luca over our vacation taking his first independent steps. And if you know his journey, or if you don't, you know that he was told that, he was going to be disabled for life. And, every aspect we had to prepare for mentally and emotionally for the fact that our kid would basically be an invalid, and for him to not only continue to have progress because of the devotion that my wife has had to his care, and also just I would just say search and research and community building and networking to find the right people for him. Taking his first independent steps it was so mind blowing and heart exploding for us, but it was so crazy how he's just like, no big deal, and then just drops to his knees, crawls away, and starts playing with the toy. What was the smartest decision we made in 2023? To coach with Hannah, to coach with Hannah Abad from Prime Collaborative, and to kind of take that step and leap into that level of humility, recognizing that I've done a lot of work. I've invested in a lot of work to be a great chiropractor, to be a great leader, to be a great dad, to be a great man, and to be a great husband. But I had met the limit to my mentorship, and I prayed a lot about this, and have an amazing business coach and have an amazing life coach. And that's the smartest decision I made this year. What was the greatest lesson I learned? It's regression, right? And regression is a funny word. It's a scary word, especially when you're with our kids and we talk about delays and regression and immaturities in the nervous system. I mean, I'm with you, to some degree, in a big way, maybe more so than you guys might even imagine for yourselves. But regression, we have called in our practice, in our business, and in my training, the squat before the leap. Like 2022 was a squat, and the leap is really just about to happen, and we're in the process of that. And we have to recognize that growth is not linear, and that healing is not linear, which is often a cop-out with a lot of people because they don't actually do the work or map the plan out or try to really strategize and be proactive. And when things shift and change and move in the right direction, they say, yeah, healing is not linear. And in my world, I found that it's both. You have to be committed to both. You have to be deeply, ruthlessly committed. And on the opposite end, you have to also recognize that surrendering and recognizing that we are not in control. One of the biggest surprises that I and I'll close with this is of 2023 is our family's newfound relationship with God. And I can't, I think for the history of my life, I've been asked if I was a believer and a Christian for a long time, and truthfully, even now, I don't know exactly what I believe, but I'm on the path to learning. But my ability to talk to God and to pray and to be connected and in that space, especially over the last like quarter, has been dramatic. It's been dramatically nourishing in a way that I never really understood, although I always admired. I have some really great friends who have emulated that for me. Um, and I remember from the youngest age recognizing that there was, for some people, a very dogmatic thing with Christianity and with religion. And I've noticed that with some people, and the people I resonated most with, was that there was a relationship and a humbleness to a divine that I honestly, I'm grateful to be on a deeper path to learning about. And if those four questions, which there's a series of probably 30, um, help you recognize the depthness of the way that we operate with a lot of these things, I just want you to know that I'm going to leave you with this tool also. And I want you to use it to help you navigate what this crazy year has been in your world. Many of you told us everything about what's going on in your world and what um, is possible for you if you have real strong intention and really begin with the end in mind for 2024. I'm genuinely appreciative of you, very grateful and excited to see where this all goes. And I believe that 2024 is going to be the best year in the history of future generations on all accounts. And I'm grateful that you will be there with me, with my family, with our amazing team, and with each other. Love you. Appreciate you. Bye.